take a look there. Did you leave Japan between the tour and now?
Yes, I was in Hong Kong.
Was that a business trip or just
It was a bit of business and a bit of pleasure. I was doing some antique shopping and some sightseeing.
Would you ever play there?
Yeah, they just opened a new 12,000 seat hall, which is very nice.
And you did play there?
No, I didn't play this time, but I expect that we will next year.
And how long do you plan on being in Japan and then go back here?
I'm scheduled to leave on Saturday to go back to New York.
How come you came back to Japan? Just out of curiosity.
To talk to you.
Was it just purpose for doing it?
I have some interviews. I have more work to do, and I also had some shopping I wanted to do. I'm sort of. Oh, isn't this nice? I fancy myself a sort of collector of various pieces of art, and I'm interested in certain periods of Chinese or Japanese art. Mm-hmm. So I'm just scouting around for that and trying to buy some trendy clothes. You know. This is very nice. Thank you. Very nice. Now I have something else to work on. I can put this on my next record.
Exactly. Speaking of which, you apparently take the live album when you were here.
Yes, we recorded the Tokyo shows, which, with a little bit of luck, will become a live album. I haven't listened back yet, but I think that there's some good stuff there.
What did you think of the shows overall?
I thought they were great. Yeah. The audiences were just were unbelievable. We're under the impression that Japanese audiences are very reserved. And in fact, when I came here, I was told by my promoter, don't expect, the reaction you get in the States, because they're not going to stand up and they're not going to scream and yell and to carry on, then rush the stage. And of course they did. So it was it was a great surprise to me, and obviously a very pleasant surprise. And I think as a result of that, it gave us a great sense of belonging, and confidence. And as a result, I think the shows were very, very, very spontaneous and probably as good as we've done, in all the time that we've been playing.
What amazed me is the moment you came out, there was just this sudden rush of energy, and I haven't felt anything like that since I was back in America. Your promoter is right. Usually
and that's what people said here. When we did the shows, they said, the promoter said, you can't play. We can't put you in Budokan because we won't be able to control the crowd.
Yeah.
Which of course is exactly what I want. I said, we'll play there. But it was great. It was something that we didn't expect at all.
Are you used to playing bigger settings in the States then?
Yeah, we played 10 to 20,000 seat arenas, depending on the facilities. If they have large ones, we usually play there. We usually play 15 to 20. Some cities don't have it, so we play 10, 12,000.
Do you ever do stadiums?
No, I don't like them. I've done some. I did the Cotton Bowl and the Astrodome in Texas, but I don't like to play outdoors. I don't like to play large stadiums because they're just too big. You lose. I lose the total sense of performer-audience relationship, which I don't in a large hall. In a 20,000 seat hall, I can still relate. I can't to 60,000 people. It's just too vast.
Well, you can see it's sort of intense sort of concentration as well as just physical activity on stage there. Is that what you do to keep fit, or do you keep fit?
I keep fit to do that, probably more so than vice versa. No, I do that to try to help relate to the audience. I want to try to bring the audience into the show and make them feel as close to me, and vice versa as I can. That's why I carry on that way. Mm-hmm.
Another thing I noticed about the show there, everything from the dance steps to the way the drummer was throwing the sticks down and catching them, bouncing up again, to the good looks of the keyboard player, to the villainous looks of the bassist. It seemed like everything was mapped out completely.
Well, it is in a sense.
Not meaning that it wasn't spontaneous, but just meaning the whole show was sort of planned out. It was a real show.
Well, it is. The difference, I suppose, is that it's a show that evolves. In other words, I didn't sit down at the beginning of the tour and map out all these things. We start with a basic plan, which is we decide what songs we're going to do, how we're going to play them. You know, I have certain things that I do, I mean, knowing myself, knowing how I relate. Are you going now? So, you can call me and leave a message. Now that you see you here, we'll come again. Okay. Good luck. And so we start from there, and then as we're working, if we do something in a show and it works, then we'll usually do it again. And that's how the dance, like Bobby and I dancing together, evolved. I had an idea that it would be good because of his personality to bring him out front. So I concocted this thing because he's a good dancer when we're in clubs. I said, we'll do a little takeoff on, you know, the Soul Brothers. And so I came up with that, and then the stick thing evolved out of that. One night he came down and he just did it. He had the sticks in his hand, and that was good. So we just sort of develop and go on from there, and that's how we do it. And then once it works, we keep it in. So at the point that you would see it, it is very mapped out, but I think there's a big difference between mapping out a show before you do it and having it come from the experience, and that's what I do. And I think we probably learn things every night, you know, which then get incorporated into the performance.
Anything special learned here, or doesn't really stand out?
I wouldn't say it'd be something necessary that we would do again, but I guess the difference in these shows is the fact that I have those ramps on the side, which are built into the hall. Usually I'm on that thrust piece, and the kids are right around me, and that creates a different atmosphere. And here we couldn't do that, so I built those other ramps out, and that would be something that we probably wouldn't necessarily do in the States, but it made these shows somewhat different. It was a different juxtaposition of performer and audience.
When do you see yourself coming back here again?
I'd like to come back as soon as we could. I think there's two reasonable possibilities. The obvious one would be after we do the next album, which would probably make it anywhere from a year from now to a year and a half.
That's the studio album.
Yeah. Now the other possibility, which I would be very pleased with, but I don't know if it will happen, depends on certain factors, is if through the response to these shows and to the series of interviews and such that I've been doing, creates a certain awareness of me, and that's carried through the release of the live album. If we start generating an awareness of Billy Squier, which I believe has never been generated here, then it's conceivable that we could come back next fall, late fall. But that's only would be in response to public demand, and which is part of your responsibility here to create.
I'll do my best.
No, I'd love to do it, because obviously playing 3 shows in a country this size is touching a very small part of the population, and I think Japan will be a very big market for me, and it's something that we will respond to it as it develops, and if it happens quickly, I would be very, very pleased to come back soon, because I like it here. I enjoy visiting.
During the show, I think almost every song was either from Emotion or Don't Say No, except for the last tune. What was that?
That's a Rolling Stones song from Exile on Main Street.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm not Stones fan, so I didn't know about that. So all the material on the live album is going to be released stuff? Yes, it is, but, well, aside from that song, if we put it on. But, of course, the versions are quite a bit different. And did you have it set aside what you want to put on that album? Or
no, I haven't decided yet.
Figure out what you did.
I'm going to go, when I get back to New York and have some time, I'll start listening to it. I usually pick the best things. I mean, obviously certain songs have to go on. But generally try to find the things that are the most exciting. You know? It doesn't have to be the hits necessarily, it's whatever works. And a lot of that involves the crowd. And the crowds are very responsive there, and we have a lot of audience participation there, so I certainly will use a lot of that.
I think I read once in an interview, you sit down before you make an album and kind of get all the material in one, not in one sitting, but in a relatively short period.
It's one long sitting.
One long sitting, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've done. I'm not sure if I'll continue to do that or not. It's obviously worked for me in the past. It's also a bit unorthodox. Most people do not just sit down and say, pick 3 weeks and go to it. I'm at a different point now in my career where I can take more time, and I don't know, as I said, perhaps that may not be good. I may be too indulgent, but I don't know if I will sit down and try to force everything. You know. Although if I have the ideas, I will. The important thing is having the ideas. The actual crafting of the songs can be done in a sort of traditional work ethic, but the important thing is to have good ideas, and I think I could possibly wait until I have, you know, the inspiration for what I'm going to do, and then I could probably do it the same way. But I won't rush the album. This album, I'm not on a schedule the way I've been on the last one, for instance, where I wanted to follow up Don't Say No very quickly, so, you know, to prove that it wasn't a fluke. You know, now I've proven that, so now I'm more concerned with making a record which will be a quantum leap beyond what I've done. I think I have to. You know, I think I don't want to stagnate. I want to do something that will really be a good progression.
And what about the songwriting process? You just sit down and get the ideas? You have them kicking in your head for a year and a half? Or
usually they come up over, say, the period of time between albums when I'm out on the road, whether it's a musical idea that I record on a little tape deck, or it's a lyric that I write down. That's the general way I do it. This year again may be a bit different because I'm going to take some time and try to reflect on what I've done, and you know, and where I stand in relation to things. So it'll be a bit different, I think, this time through.
Even in Piper, it was all Billy Squier, and the solo albums are all Billy Squier material. Do you ever plan on hooking up with anybody?
I'm open to it. That's a difficult thing because you tend to get busy. Solo artists and groups, whatever, tend to get busy, and you get involved in your own career, so that you can sit and think, gee, I'd like to write with someone else, but you don't always find that your schedules fit together. And the other thing that I found, which is maybe a bit to my disadvantage, is that being a solo artist, nobody ever thinks that I'd be interested in working with them. No one ever comes to ask me to you know, they'll come like the guys in my band and ask them to play on their records, and no one ever asks me to play on their records. And I would love to do it, you know, but it's a thing, it's a question of perception, I think, that people don't, you know, so why would he want to do this? There are a few people who, you know, who we've kicked things around.
I remember Queen asked you to fill in for somebody who pulled out the last minute.
David Bowie.
Oh, Bowie pulled out, that's right. Do you hang around with that sort of community, the rock and roll?
I don't hang around with anybody, really. But, well, the people in Queen are not really the rock and roll community. They're sort of elitists, like myself.
Oh.
You know, I mean, I consider them to be a lot more than musicians. And
really?
I think they're extremely intelligent, insightful people, which I think puts them certainly in a special class. You know, there's very small element of the business, and I like them as such. And Fred and I have talked about doing some things together. But as I said, it comes down to when one's time is free. You know, and as I said, your first commitment is to your own career, so a lot of times it just isn't possible to work these things out. But no, I enjoy it, and they worked on Freddie and Roger worked on my album a little bit, which was real fun.
Any particular artist you say, when's that going to call me up? I'd love to do something with it.
No, I don't really think about it. But,
you don't really think about it?
Well, no. As I said, I'm wrapped up in my own career to a great extent, so I don't really think about how to be a part of other people's. But Fred and I have talked about doing something. He's working with Michael Jackson now, so that I'd like to do that if I could.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. And that's a very strange idea. I got something I'm working on for Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson?
Yeah.
In what capacity would you be working with him? Is songwriting actually?
I'd probably try to. I've got this song that I'm working on. I'd like to write with him, and then maybe we'd record it together. Which is totally off the wall, but those are the kind of things I think about. They're real shifts in my career. Olivia Newton-John and I've talked about doing something together.
Olivia Newton-John.
But we don't. But no traditional rock and roll people. I mean, that's the thing, because that isn't necessarily as interesting to me. Although I certainly could see myself doing some things.
But I mean, listening to your sound, that's the whole of your sound right there. So that it's based on the late '60s, early '70s British rock thing.
Yeah. That's why I look to other things to do, and that's to keep. That's I know what I'm going to do myself, so I try to keep interested. If I'm going to do an outside project, it would be something I think that would motivate me, because it would give me something other than what I get from my own band and myself. So that's why these sort of off the wall references come up, because those things are interesting to me. I'm not interested in going out and playing at someone else's rock and roll record, because that's what I do anyway. Just to say I wouldn't do it, I don't mean that. I mean, there's certain bands that I like. We have a band out in the States that was called Def Leppard, who I really like. I would love to work with Def Leppard. In any capacity, whether it be producing them or, singing with them or playing with them, in a one-off situation. They're very good. I like David Coverdale very much, and he's expressed sort of a mutual interest, and he's trying to put a new band together, and that'd be something that I would find interesting, because he's an artist of a particular stature that I think would be a challenge for me to work with. So, I mean, there are certainly people in my own genre that I could relate to, but I'm also very attracted to things which would take me outside of myself.
So you do pretty much keep tabs on what's going on around you then?
It's not really so much that I do, it's more that I have a network of people who do for me. Through my record company and mutual friends and my managers and things. I mean, it's not that big a business, so these things sort of come around and you hear about things. I don't aggressively pursue it so much. I'm lucky in that way that I don't have to spend my time doing it, that I'm now in a position where people do throw ideas at me, and I can pick and choose.
You don't aggressively pursue this stuff, but are you an aggressive music listener?
No, I don't listen at all.
Is that right?
Same thing. No, I mean, someone came to me with Michael Jackson's record and said, "You've got to hear this." I said, "Okay, I'll listen to it." Someone comes and says, "You listen to this," I'll listen. And now I play it all the time. But no, I don't have time. And I don't want my life to be 100% involved in music. I mean, it's very restrictive, I think. So, taking the fact that probably 80 to 90% of the time is involved in music, and the 10% that I'm not working, I try to get away from it. I don't run and turn on the radio or go out and listen to records. So I'm not an avid music listener. I usually keep up with things, though. I mean, I will eventually. I may not be the first person to hear these things, but I usually pick up on what's good, what will be acknowledged as good. It usually gets to my desk. In time for me to take advantage of it.
Without getting too personal, what are your other interests on the side, besides music?
I'm very interested now in architecture, because I just bought a new house, and as such have taken a new perspective on environments. And I now have the opportunity to really create an environment rather than to become a part of it. I can create it to suit my personality. So that's become a hobby, interior design and architecture, and that's expanded my interest in antiques, antique art. I told you before that. Right. I have an interest in various forms of antiques, and particularly Oriental rugs, things of that nature, which are of course, from the Near East, and a lot of Oriental art, certain periods of paintings on silk and that sort of thing, which from China and Japan. So I like that. I like driving my car a lot.
Typical American.
Yeah, I really like driving. I've always loved driving.
What kind of car do you have?
I have a Porsche. I like driving. I like being outside. I like doing a lot of outdoor individual man against nature sports, I call it, like scuba diving, skiing, sailing, non-competitive, things like that. What else? I like to read. I like to eat good food. I love to travel.
Get plenty of that work.
Yeah, but I mean, it's different when working is different. A different experience. You never appreciate things the same way as you do if you're just a tourist. When you're going, you're in a place without anybody pulling at you, and you observe things in a totally different manner. So that's why I keep doing it, because a lot of the traveling I do in the working sense is not giving me what I want in terms of observing the environment.
Speaking of which, what did you get from that first few days at the hot springs there?
Oh, it was wonderful. That was exactly what I wanted. I got to see what I perceived as a more traditional Japanese way of life.
Like what kind of things did you find anything new that you had?
Oh, just the idea of sleep, being in the tatami rooms and sleeping on the floor and having the attentiveness, the orderliness to life in terms of the cleanliness and the way they conduct themselves. That's just a general, I think, ambiance.
Getting back to your music here, it's a rather vague question, but do you see any particular strengths or weaknesses in yourself as a musician, a songwriter, and performer?
I think my biggest strength is that I'm a jack of all trades. I'm not necessarily a virtuoso in any one area, but I do write my songs, I do sing them, I do most of the guitar bits, I do the arranging, I do the production, and I'm the frontman of the group. So the fact that I consider myself fairly well versed in all those things gives me a very strong base to work from.
Do you find any particular weaknesses that you want to brush up on?
No.
Nothing you do?
Not really. I mean, I think I can develop all of the same way that they're all strengths. I could be better at all of them, I suppose. But I don't really see any particular flaw in my approach. And at the same time, as I said, I don't necessarily see myself as being a virtuoso or pinning my efforts on one particular trait.
Getting back to this songwriting process, your lyrics are not the typical rock and roll type thing. It's like, a couple more minutes here. They're not typical rock and roll lyrics. They're kind of introspective.
Yes, well, they're my expressions, and the fact that I play rock and roll music does not confine me to expressing things in a rock and roll, what would be considered a traditional rock and roll format. I find the traditional rock and roll format to be very tedious and boring. And it's something which I don't want to be a part of. This is my opportunity to communicate, and I communicate as best I can. And as a result, my lyrics are quite a bit different. You're right; they are very introspective, and they're very important. I spend a lot of time trying to express what are actually probably many of the same basic feelings that you hear expressed through rock and roll music, but it's just attempting to find a little bit different, more imaginative way to say it than the traditional, hackneyed phrases.
I found it a little bit incongruent there. It seems like the theme of Everybody Wants You is kind of, it seems very incongruent seeing everybody screaming with their hands in there, and then you sing something like Everybody Wants You, which is kind of almost a song against that kind of idea,
Well, I suppose in a sense that's true, because there's a lot of ambiguity and irony in what we do, and I certainly I didn't write it as a rebuff to the fans, certainly.
Yeah, right.
I don't think anyone would really misunderstand that.
I don't know. It's just an interesting kind of thing that caught me. Yeah, I think we're being right. You have to change the clothes here and get pictures of you, I believe. Yeah, I think I basically got what I wanted then. Why did you do Cali on at the concert?
Sorry?
Why did you do Cali on?
Why didn't I?
Yeah.
Didn't have time. You know, and I think that at this point people are more aware of me for the last two albums, and that's why I am tending still to focus on that. As we go on, I'll probably go back. And a lot of people like that song, so
yeah,
I think that, I mean, there's a good chance that it will come out someday, but I'm kind of trying to deal from strength at this point. And as I said, people are more aware of my last two albums, so I'd like to try to build on that, and then obviously we'll do more new things, and I'd like to go back and see more come out of the first album as well.
Just on the stage then? Could you ever see yourself re-releasing that song?
No, I don't think so. I mean, hopefully I'll always have something else. You know, I'll always be working and producing, so I won't have to sort of fall back. But
no rehashes or cover versions?
I don't think so. Not at this point. Anything can happen. So I don't like to put anything in absolute terms.
All right. Good enough. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Say something about here.
Do you mind put on the T-shirts or something?
What?
Well, you can change the video.
I've got another. Yeah, but I don't want to. I can't change twice. I don't want to.
No, just change.
Yeah, I'm going to change for the video, but I don't.
We let them wait. They want.
As good as we've done, you know, in all the time that we've been playing.
What amazed me is the moment you came out, there was just this sudden rush of energy, and I haven't felt anything like that since I was back in America. Your promoter is right. Usually
well, that's what, yeah, and that's what people said here. That, I mean, when we did the shows, they said, you know, the promoter said, you know, we can't put you in Budokan because we won't be able to control the crowd.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is exactly what I want. I said, we'll play there. You know, but it was great. It was something that we didn't expect at all.
Are you used to playing bigger settings in the States then?
Yeah, we play 10 to 20,000 seat arenas, depending on the facilities. Some, if they have the large ones, we usually play there. We usually play 15 to 20. Some cities don't have it, so we play 10, 12,000.
Do you ever do stadiums?
No, I don't like to.
This is just the purpose for doing interviews?
I have some interviews. I have more work to do, and I also had some shopping I wanted to do. I'm sort of, oh, isn't this nice? I fancy myself a sort of collector of various pieces of art, and I'm interested in certain periods of Chinese or Japanese art. Mm-hmm. So I'm just scouting around for that and trying to buy some trendy clothes. You know. This is very nice. Thank you. Very nice. Now I have something else to work on. I can put this on my next record.
Exactly. Speaking of which, you apparently take the live album when you were here.
Yes, we recorded the Tokyo shows, which with a little bit of luck.
Take a look there. Did you leave Japan between the tour and now?
Yes, I was in Hong Kong.
Was that a business trip or just
It was a bit of business and a bit of pleasure. I was doing some antique shopping and some sightseeing.
Would you ever play that?
Yeah, they just opened a new 12,000 seat. Oh, it's just very nice.
And you did play there?
No, I didn't play this time, but I expect that we will next year.
And how long do you plan on being in Japan and go back here?
I'm scheduled to leave on Saturday to go back to New York.
How come you came back to Japan? Just out of curiosity.
To talk to you. It will become a live album. I haven't listened back yet, but I think that there's some good stuff there.
What did you think of the shows overall?
I thought they were great. Yeah. The audiences were just were unbelievable. We're under the impression that Japanese audiences are very reserved. And in fact, when I came here, I was told by my promoter, don't expect, you know, the reaction you get in the States, because they're not going to stand up and they're not going to scream and yell and carry on, then rush the stage. And of course they did. So it was really, it was a great surprise to me, and obviously a very pleasant surprise. And I think as a result of that, it gave us a great sense of belonging, you know, confidence. And as a result, I think the shows were very, very, very spontaneous. And probably, I've done some. I did the Cotton Bowl and the Astrodome in Texas, but I don't like to play outdoors. I don't like to play large stadiums because they're just too big. You lose. I lose the total sense of performer-audience relationship, which I don't in a large hall. In a 20,000-seat hall, I can still relate. I can't to 60,000 people. It's just too vast.
Well, you can see it's sort of an intense sort of concentration as well as just physical activity on stage there. Is that what you do to keep fit, or do you keep fit?
I know I keep fit to do that, probably more so than vice versa. No, I do that to try to help relate to the audience. I want to try to bring the audience into the show and make them feel as close to me, and vice versa as I can.